Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Top SST. Today we are going to cover some more questions from globalization and the Indian economy. Okay, let us, today the questions will be based on some of these terminologies. So it is very important that you need to understand the meaning of these terms. Let us first begin with investment. What is investment? Investment, money that is spent to buy assets such as land, building, machines, and other equipments, it's called investment. So when we invest on the assets such as land, building, machines, and other equipments, okay. So why we are spending money? Investment can be long-term, short-term. So you need to understand when we do the investment, we always look for the return. Okay, so when we buy assets such as land, building, machines, okay, so these all things are going to give us the return that is called as investment. Now the next one is foreign investment. Now we know the definition of investment. Investment when we buy assets such as land, building, and machines. So what is foreign investment? Here the new word has been added, that is foreign. So when we do the investment, or when the investments are made by MNCs, that is multinational corporations, to buy assets like building, machines, land, and other equipments, it's called as foreign investment. So you need to understand what is the difference between investment and foreign investment. Investment can be done by any domestic person, okay, the person who is living in the same geographical location or geographical territory area. So investment when an individual or the group of the people, when they do the investment in land, machines, and other things are called as investment. Whereas foreign investment which are made by MNCs. अलग देश से जब कोई इन्वेस्ट करता है हमारे देश के अंदर, तो उस चीज को हम बोलते हैं फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट. लिबरलाइजेशन. लिबरल मीन्स, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ लिबरल? लिबरल मीन्स फ्री. So what is liberalization? Removing barriers or restrictions set by government is known as liberalization. Now, removing barriers. Which type of the barrier here we are talking about? Here we are talking about tax barriers, custom duties, okay? So when it has been removed, or the restrictions which are set by the government is subsidized or kam ho jata hai, so that time it is known as liberalization. Now globalization, we already in the last video I have explained you the meaning of globalization. Now what is fair globalization? Fair means, what do you mean by fair? Fair means jahan pe koi cheating type ka, if I tell you in a simple word. So what is fair globalization? Means creating opportunity for all. It should not be only the rich countries are dominating, or for example only rich countries are taking decisions. So it should not be like that. So fair globalization means creating opportunities for all. It also ensures better sharing of the benefits of globalization. So these four are very important definition which you should know, because in the combination of questions also the question can come. So investment, foreign investment, liberalization, and fair globalization. Let's move to the questions. If you have understood these words, it is going to be very easy to understand the different questions. Okay, first one. What would happen if the government of India puts heavy taxes on the import of Chinese toys? Explain any 3 points. Okay, so here Chinese toys, in your textbook they have explained you in the case. It is a case or the source base. The question is taken from the source base. The question can come for 3 marks or it will come for 2 marks. So what do you understand by the question? What would happen? क्या होगा अगर government of India, क्या होगा अगर government India puts heavy taxes on the import. Import का मतलब जब हम दूसरे देश से खरीदते हैं, तो यहाँ पे कहाँ से खरीद रहे हैं हम लोग? Chinese toys हम खरीद रहे हैं, and government of India puts heavy taxes. So what will be what will be the situation? What will happen if the government of India puts heavy taxes on the import of Chinese toys? So the first one, automatically the cost of Chinese toys will increase. Why the cost will increase? Because here the government will start putting the tax on the Chinese toys. So jahan pe hame, suppose for example 10 रुपीज का एक टॉय मिलता था, आफ्टर पुटिंग द टैक्स यही टॉय अभी हमें कितने का मिलेगा, फॉर एग्जाम्पल 15 रुपीज. सो द प्राइस ऑफ द चाइनीज टॉयज इज इंक्रीज. Less Chinese toys would come in Indian market. Okay, automatically when price will increase, it's a, suppose for example, if I make you understand consumer behavior, says that price of the commodity increases, automatically demand for commodity will decrease. So यहाँ पे जब हमारा price increase हो गया, तो what will be happening here? The import will reduce. Okay, so Indian market में Chinese toys का जो demand होगा वो क्या हो जाएगा, reduce हो जाएगा. Next, the Indian buyers would have a lesser choice in the market. Now Chinese toys, because of the heavy tax, what would happen here? एक brand क्या हो गया, कम हो गया. So automatically as a consumer, Indian consumer, मेरे पास choice क्या हो जाएगी, it will be very limited choice. Then toys became more expensive. Okay, because more expensive. यहाँ पे एक simple सा example मैंने आपको दिया था. Next, it will give an opportunity to Indian toy makers to expand their business. Now, Chinese toys का government ने जब tax increase किया, so price of the commodity increased. Because of that, lesser choice and Chinese toys would come in the market in a less quantity. That time what will be happening, the Indian toy maker will take an opportunity and they will start expanding their business. There will be less competition, therefore price will increase. Okay, this is a simple your price and demand का जो relation होता है उसमें. Whenever there is a limited supply of anything, the price will increase. Okay, the producer will increase the price. So in a later on grade 11, when you're going to take economics grade 11 and 12, you will be like, you know, you will understand in detail. So यहाँ पे इतना समझना काफी है. Whenever there is a heavy tax on any commodity, the price will increase and people will start, like, you know, the producer will start buying less. So because of that, what will be happening? The any commodity, यहाँ पे हम लोग Chinese toys के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. So here the Chinese toys would come in the market in a less quantity. Indian buyers will have a lesser choice because now the Chinese toys are not there in the market. Let's move to the next question. Buyers on foreign trade and foreign investment were removed to a large extent in India since 1991. Justify the statement. Sorry, barriers on foreign trade and investment. Here, what they are asking you, first try to understand the question. They are asking you the barriers. Okay, the barriers, what were the barriers before, if we talk before 1991, the barriers for the tax. Okay, there was no liberalization policy, there was no privatization policy, there was no globalization. It has come after the new economic policy of 1991, where there are in a large extent the barriers on foreign trade and investment have removed. Okay, when it has been removed, what was the situation in the country? So in 1991, the Indian government decided that now it's a time when Indian producer or Indian industries are ready to compete with the producer around the world. So before 1991, it was like, you know, suppose for example, if I talk about 1947, after India's independence, we were not self-reliant. Okay, we were not self-sufficient with our own commodity. After the Green Revolution, in the agriculture sector, we prospered. So that time, after that, manufacturing industries also started developing. So what happened here now in 1991? Now the government felt that now Indian markets, Indian industries are ready to compete with the foreign industries. So compete with the foreign industries, first point. Second one, here you need to understand, in case if it is a 5 marks question, please write 1 or 2 lines of introduction where you will be writing about the new economic policy. So after in 1991, new economic policy, according to the new economic policy, they have adopted, the Indian government has adopted the policy of liberalization. Remember LPG. Liberalization, privatization, and globalization policy. And after 1991, then you write the first point. The Indian government decided that the India has come for the Indian producer to compete with the producer around the world. It felt that the foreign competition would improve the quality of goods produced by Indian producer within the country. how it will happen. So जब हमारे foreign country से product आएगा, so definitely जो domestic producers हैं, they will start comparing and they will improve their own quality of the product. Then barriers on the foreign trade and investment were removed in the large extent, okay, under the LPG policy of 1991. It is meant goods could be imported or exported easily and foreign companies would set up factories and offices in India. So when they started setting up their offices, that is called as MNCs, okay, multinational corporations started coming. Because of the globalization, because of the liberalization policy, it has become very easy to import and export between the countries. Last point, global MNCs could set up their production units. They brought latest technology. So any MNC, when they set up their local company in our country, they will bring with them the latest technology also. Okay, so this is how, like, you know, the barriers, when the barriers has been removed from the foreign trade and investment in the large extent. So these are the beneficial side what one country gets. Explain any 3 benefits of globalization with example. Now, every one of you, I hope with my last video's explanation, now you know the meaning of globalization. So when we are talking about so much about globalization, what are the benefits of globalization? So here I have divided the benefits or merits of globalization into 3 categories. One is economic benefit, then technological benefit and political benefit. So let us first understand what are the economic benefits of globalization. So it involves the greater economic flow among various countries. Economic flow is your keyword. It has enhanced trade in commodities among countries. Okay, it enhanced trade in commodities. Because of the globalization, what happened? Now the trade between 2 or more than 2 countries were very easy because of the policies of liberalization and globalization. The restrictions on the imports and movement of capital has also been reduced. So the restriction, what I was telling you about the custom duties and other taxes, okay, which the government used to lay, now it has been reduced. Because of that also, the capital flow has become very easy. This has spread internet and computer related services across national boundaries. Okay, so these are the benefits of, these are the economic benefits. Next one is technological benefits. So these all are the economic benefits of globalization. So what are the economic benefits of globalization? Economic flow, commodities are like, you know, enhance the trade in commodities. Then there are restrictions on the imports and the movements of the capital has been reduced. And then all the internet and the computer related services has been increased in the national boundaries. Next one is technological benefits. When we talk about the technological benefits, so definitely telephone, internet, microchip have been contributed to globalization by enhancing, by exchanging ideas, capitals, and people to make convenient to move from one place to another at the fast pace to simulate the process of globalization. So because of globalization, what happened? These all instrument has also like, you know, development happened very rapidly. So before, like, you know, suppose for example, if I talk 60-70 years back, what would happen? Like, you know, what was the situation? The newspaper or like, you know, a telegram or postcard, these all were there. But now I don't think anyone used the England letter or the postcard. Everyone uses internet, email, or like, you know, Zoom meeting or Google Meet to even like, you know, the person who is sitting in US can easily have a business transaction with the person who is sitting in India. So it has become very easy because of all this things, like, you know, where the development had happened in these areas. That is called as technological benefits. Next, political benefits. The primary status remains unchanged on the basis of political community. To some extent, developing countries have received a boost to become more powerful and strong. So because of the globalization, a simple example, take an example of during like, you know, the COVID vaccination. Because of the globalization, the countries can easily, like, you know, send their vaccine to the other country, or like, you know, global process has been happened. So it is only because of globalization process. So these are the, and the relationship between two countries or more than two countries improves because of the globalization process. Next one. How has transformation and technology simulated the globalization process? Explain with suitable example. Again, this is your 3 marks question. Faster trains connecting every nook and the corner of the country, faster planes that cover. So here they are talking about trains and airways and the trains. So this has become, this is the reason why within an hour we have enabled the faster delivery of goods because of development in these areas, that is in the airlines and in the trains. Okay, because of the development in these two areas, we get the faster delivery. Improvements done in the transportation technology in the past 50 years has also helped in the quick movements of goods. For example, containers carrying goods have led a huge reduction in the port handling cost. If you take out your textbook, you have one case study based on the transportation. Okay, so where they have specifically talked about the container, please do check on that case-based study, and that will help you to understand this point. Reduced cost of air transport has enabled much greater volumes of goods being transported by the airlines. So this is the reason why the process has been simulated because of transportation and technological development in the globalization. So this question can come for 2 marks or 3 marks. Next one, what is trade barrier? ओके, बैरियर का मतलब ही क्या है? बैरियर मींस जहां पे हम लोग रोकथाम करते हैं. ट्रेड मींस इंपोर्ट्स एंड एक्सपोर्ट्स. व्हाई डिड इंडियन गवर्नमेंट पुट ट्रेड बैरियर्स immediately after the independence? Explain. So this question will come for 2+3, or they can ask you only this one for 3 marks. So what are trade barriers? Have been restriction that has been imposed by government on free import and export activities, so the protect its producer and entrepreneurs. Okay, so what is trade barrier? Why the trade barrier has been imposed? So trade barrier are imposed by the government. Why they put the trade barrier? So that they can help the domestic producers to develop their own industry. So the moment when they start feeling that the domestic industry is not able to compete with the foreign industry, so that time they put the trade barrier. For example, the Chinese toys case, the source which is being given in your textbook, that clearly shows that when the Chinese toys has become very popular in India, and because of the cheap rate and the wide choice to the people, Indians, what they started doing, they started buying only Chinese toys. So that time the trade barriers has been put into the Chinese toys. Okay, so that was a best example. So the Indian government, why one person? So just now I explained, when the producer within the country, they are not able to complete, or they want to protect the Indian companies, that time they put the trade barrier. 1950s and 60s were the time when it is an initial stage, okay, and we were not ready to compete with the foreign countries. So that's the reason India has put the trade barriers on foreign imports. Next one, what is the main aim of WTO? WTO stands for World Trade Organization. Explain its function. Again, aim can come for 2 marks, function can come for 2 marks. Okay, so this will come only for 2 marks. So the main aim of WTO, that is World Trade Organization, is to liberalize international trade. Very important keyword, liberalize international trade. It says that all the barriers to the foreign trade and investment are harmful. Therefore, there should be no barriers. Okay, so this is your answer for the aim for World Trade Organization. What are its functions? The first one, it is, so World Trade Organization, all the countries who are part of these this organization, they need to follow some of the function. The first one, rules. They establish the rules, okay, so that every country who is the part of WTO, they need to obey these rules. Second one, they provides a platform to the member country to decide future strategy related to the trade. Next one, it administrate the rules and process related to dispute settlement. अगर दो देश के बीच में dispute होता है, तो they try to set a rule where, like, you know, the disputes can be easily handled, and it can be, like, you know, the dispute can be settled down. It ensures the optimum utilization of world resources. So these are the 4 functions. This will come for 2 marks, each point half marks. Or if they can ask you, what is the main aim of WTO? Explain any, write any one function. So again, it will be 1 plus 1. So according to the question, you need to write the answer. Next, mention any 2 shortcomings of WTO. We have learned aim, we have learned objectives, okay, now functions, and now we have to see what are the shortcomings. Shortcoming is nothing but demerits. Okay, shortcoming is nothing but demerits. Again, this question can come only for 2 marks. Though WTO is supposed to follow free trade to all, but sometimes what happened, developed country always dominate, and unfairly related trade barriers continue to protect their producer. Okay, always. There is also one more case question is case sources there in your textbook, that is about the farmer. So I have written in short. For example, farmers in the US receive huge sums of money from the government, and as a result can sell the farm products at the abnormally low prices in other countries, negatively affected farmers in those countries. Like, you know, it will be negative in other countries. On the other hand, WTO rules have forced the developing countries to remove the trade barriers. So these are 2 shortcomings of WTO. Now, explain the role played by WTO in liberalizing international trade. Okay, what is the role played by World Trade Organization to liberalize international trade? So, the same, what are your functions? You need to just reframe the statement. So, which started at the initiative of the developed country, establish rules. Okay, that was only the first point tha hamara functions mein, ki they established the rules. So, here also they ensures that these rules are being obeyed by the members. So this is first role played by the WTO. Function and role played is one and the same. Okay, just you need to play with some words. Second, despite the WTO permissions to the free trade all, it has been noticed that developed countries have unfairly retained the trade barriers. Okay, on the contrary, WTO have forced the developing countries to remove the trade barriers. So this is my shortcoming. Okay, though WTO is working on it, but somewhere, like, you know, they are dominated by the developed countries. But the unfair way of retaining trade barriers by the developed country on the favor on them and representation people's organization. So they cannot, after some extent, they cannot force the developing country to do according to them what they want. Okay, so that is very important. And tomorrow we will be meeting with a new video where I'll be completing the chapter, and some of the very, 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 very important questions are going to cover in next video. Till that, thank you. Have a nice day.